Hello once again, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode, of course, we want to give out shout out to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for free each and every week on whichever platform you choose to listen. Thanks to Angelo's Pizza. It's delicious. It's wonderful. You can't go there and sit down and dine and maybe propose to your girlfriend or significant other right now, but you can still get it for takeout and delivery. So make sure to check out Angelo's on Madison Avenue in beautiful Lakewood, Ohio. Thanks, of course, to Pollyanna DIY. They make amazing enamel pins as well as t-shirts and all sorts of other custom merchandise. And some old school stuff they have as well. So make sure to check out Pollyanna DIY. And lastly, thanks to those companies that help us stream. It's the merger between Smart Mark Video and IndependentWrestling.tv. Make sure you head to smartmarkvideo.com or IWTV. That's IndependentWrestling.tv. And you can check out all sorts of different AIW shows. If you want to stream it, then IWTV is for you. You can do a monthly subscription, but sign up right now using the code ABSOLUTE and get a 5-day free trial. And then also, Smart Mark Video, they've got all of our DVDs from the past, pretty much. So check those out, and if you want to download to own them, you can do that as well.
And get the physical media in the mail.
You love that physical media.
Love the physical media.
Yeah. Before we get into this week's episode, a disclaimer here as AIW owner John Thorne is joining me right now. Steve Guy, your moderator of sorts. But this is an episode that we recorded a month and a half ago, maybe, John? Was it February or March?
It was definitely before the COVID-19 took over the United States, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So you're going to hear some things that seem obviously outdated, and they are, but we cover Bad Boy for Life, which just streamed on IWTV last week in a new time slot, I think, right, John? Is how we're gonna do it now.
Yeah, so we did the last couple weeks we've done Wednesday night at 10 p.m. and I guess the numbers have been pretty good. People have been pretty interested. So as far as I know, we are going to continue streaming Wednesdays at 10 p.m. on IWTV. They are going to work backwards through the AIW catalog for however long this is going to last, I guess, from what I've been told. So this Wednesday, they will be streaming Bobblehead Night Wednesday at 10 p.m., So, I guess that is the benefit of having such an extensive library in the current state that we're in. We have over 200 shows. So, I guess we could probably stream something every Wednesday for about the next 200 or so weeks. And then, you can start putting together those best ofs and those compilations. So we're, we got at least a couple of years in us to stay relevant, I guess, on IWTV. But it's such a benefit for us right now because everybody's still in limbo. Nobody knows what's going on as far as live events or anything like that. Which is probably, let's be honest, it's not going to be anytime soon that there's going to be a live event. So, it is nice to kind of have some AIW talk and, streaming live into people's homes every Wednesday for the foreseeable future. Now, of course, watch, I say that and then it's going to get changed. But, we have a lot of shows that can be streamed. So, that's kind of a little bit of a relief, because with everything going on in the world, it's so easy to forget about your favorite independent wrestling promotion because you don't know if you're working again or so much stuff is changing. So it is kind of nice and a relief for me as a business owner that I can get some keep some form of support coming in. And every time, like I've said before, every time you watch and the more people watch, that's kind of like the basis of the compensation through IWTV. So don't skip those streams. Every minute that you watch an IWTV is helping AIW and kind of helping us pay our monthly expenses, which, that's been the interesting thing, is trying to figure out like how much money do we burn each month compared to now. We don't really have, we don't have those ticket sales and those meet and greets and everything else coming in. It's like, so it's like trying to figure out what our bare minimum costs can be to survive. We have rent that has to be paid, and we have a wrestling school that we can't use, but we still rent a space. And there's a lot of just kind of things that are in limbo right now. So it is nice to have that IWTV, income coming in every month. And of course the Smart Mark video, the DVD and the MP4 purchases are greatly appreciated during this time. That's really the lifeblood of every independent wrestling promotion right now, is those video sales, and those IWTV streams are really the only income anybody has going on at the current moment.
But you've been a busy guy, and there soon will be other ways that people could purchase some things and help AIW.
Oh man, that's that has also been kind of the benefit for the time off, is I've been trying to educate myself on many YouTube how-to videos. This may sound ridiculous, but I don't know how to ship things. I don't know how the mail system works. Like, or I mean, I know how it generally works, but I don't know like how much it's going to cost to ship this size item to this country or state, or I've just, it sounds crazy, but I've just never really had to do that in my lifetime. And, the way my work hours work, it's like the same as a postal office usually anyway. So I've taken this time and I've been learning how to like get a home shipping operation going on, which I will hopefully be rolling out this week, because we have a bunch of shirts and hoodies and a lot of those winter hats and some of the Pollyanna DIY pins have just been sitting in storage. So we might as well figure out how to sell them.
Yeah.
So, I talked to Thrift Store Jobber, and several other people reached out to me. I had a tweet last week, and a lot of people reached out to me and gave me some tips and some info. I got the stamps.com account going on. I got a shipping label printer. I've spent more money during this friggin' quarantine, but I'm hoping that these investments pay off for AIW down the line. Because we didn't sell merch online before. So other than IWTV's shop and Pro Wrestling Tees shop, we didn't really sell anything online. So I'm hoping that this this time off and these small little investments, which thankfully, I have to give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers. That's where the money is coming from to invest in this stuff. Because that is another big kind of income for us besides the streams and the DVD sales. So, I've invested in all this stuff. I've done a lot of homework. For somebody that never went to college, I sit and I do so much just research, and I'm not just sitting around doing nothing during this time off from my real job. So I'm hopefully gonna roll out a shipping home, direct to your home shipping operation going on. I'm not gonna be getting crazy though and setting up a web store just yet. It's gonna be total bootleg style, where I'll just say, hey, I got like 3 of these shirts. Who wants it? First person to email me or DM me, and we'll work out a deal.
Listen, as somebody that did go to college, I assure you that life is still just researching, figuring out how to do stuff anyway. It's it sounds crazy, but like it sounds crazy, but I've never had to ship anything before, so it's just like, I don't know, how much it costs to ship a hoodie to Denmark. I don't know. You gotta watch a YouTube video about it and talk to the Thrift Store Jobber about things. He's, he sells shit all over the world. So, I am hopefully ready to go. Just waiting on my digital scale to arrive. And, that's the last piece of the shipping puzzle that I have. I have all the AIW merch sorted and organized in my home.
Shout out to AIW merchandise, head of merchandise, Kat, who she took an inventory and organized everything and dropped it on my front porch this week. So
she's on it, man. She is on it. Speaking of organized, we're doing this through video chat, and your home office, man. That time off is
I'm doing a lot. I'm getting a lot done. Like I actually am feeling pretty like mentally relieved during this time off, to be perfectly honest with you. Like at first, it really sucked with the cancellation of the Mania weekend and then Gauntlet, and there was like so much stress. But after that kind of Band-Aid was ripped off and it was like forced that we had, like, this wasn't going to happen, and it wasn't just us, it's everybody. Every sort of event throughout the world has been canceled.
Yeah.
So it's like, it wasn't like oh my God, why is this happening to me? It's literally happening to everybody. I was just like, I feel refreshed, like I've been doing this for such a long time, and I felt so burned out for a while, just based on, just the stupid stress that we talk about on this show, and like the worrying about the money, and is this guy going to show up, or this guy didn't get on his flight, or
right,
how are we going to book these next 6 shows? And like, I have none of that. My mind is like totally been freed of that for the first time in probably my adult life, to be perfectly honest. And I organized my home office. I bought a webcam. I got this nice microphone for the podcast, and I've been just trying to get stuff done. I've went through a lot of the Chandler Biggins boxes that have just been sitting in my house for the last 2 years. I'm ready to go. Another thing I'm researching is how we can possibly do some live streams, maybe for Patreon, do some Q&As with fans, and just keep the AIW community together, because I know that a lot of fans are really down about losing the shows, and we're trying to figure out ways. That's why we're still doing this podcast, even though we have no shows and nothing to really talk about, and nothing of that much importance to promote. But I know that the fans are really kind of missing that sense of community. So, Steve and I and a lot of other people involved in kind of the think tank of AIW, we're trying to come up with different ways to keep everybody connected and keep things rolling and keep that connection going on. I purchased this webcam this week, like I have a webcam now. I've like things I've never thought that I would buy in my entire life or that I needed are, here we are. I have a webcam, I have a microphone. We are learning all this different software, OBS software, and trying to learn Google Hangouts or Zoom. And we're on Squadcast right now. Shout out to Pod Van Dam for teaching us about this software.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to figure out ways to stay connected with everybody. It's going to take some time, but we aren't just sitting around doing nothing. Like, we're all kind of researching and trying to keep that connection going on, because it is really important. And I realize, I've been involved in wrestling when that fan connection wasn't there and that sense of community wasn't there, and it's not fun, and it's hard. So we want to try to keep everybody as together as possible, at least during this time. So we're trying to think of different things. Like, we came up with the Year Top 5 show that Steve he recorded and we launched last Friday.
Yes.
That is for the fans. We really want you to send in your top 5 list, and we're going to make videos, and it's going to be so and so's top 5, and there's no right or wrong answer to it. We're just trying to keep the AIW family, so to speak, together. And maybe somebody who is not that connected to AIW is not going to care what Ronald Two Legs' favorite bloodiest moments are in AIW history, but we're just doing it because what the fuck else do we have to do?
Yeah, and it's a great thing, because when those videos come out, the idea is that it provokes a conversation for all of you fans online whenever you choose to watch it. So, engage in those conversations on the videos. If you don't agree with what those top fives are, well, whatever, go back and forth and let's have that talk. And, if you join the AIW Patreon, the $5 tier gets you into the Discord, and that's another place that has ongoing conversation. That's a lot of fun with that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, we're just trying to do different things to remain connected, because I realize, and I think as the days go on, more and more people are starting to come to the realization that this is going to be a long time, probably without an AIW show. And that doesn't mean that we have to not be connected and not interacting and not trying to maintain those relationships with fans and friends. And, also for us, we don't see any of our friends that are involved in the business from different places anymore.
Yeah.
We're all trying to figure out a way to get through this. And it does suck, but we're trying to make the best of it here. And that's why we're trying to produce all this content for you guys.
John, I'm going to blow your mind. While you're getting hip to technology, I went backwards in technology this weekend because my neighbors moved out, and so I have to cut the grass now.
Oh,
and I'm
boy.
like, the yard's so small though. I bought one of those mowers where it's just the blades.
Oh, like the push one.
Yeah, the push one that just rolls.
Like that you'd see on like a farm in the 1800s or something.
Yeah. So I bought one of those and cut the grass with that. It's
I'll blow your mind. I've never used a lawnmower in my life. I don't even know.
Well, you don't have to right now either.
Well, I pay a drunk guy that lives around in the neighborhood $10. He comes by and he cuts my grass for $10. He has his own lawnmower. But I've never, and like my parents where I grew up, they had like a pretty big yard, so we just had like a riding lawnmower. So like I don't know how to use like an actual regular lawnmower. I mean, I'm really exposing a lot this week. I don't know how to use the mail system. I don't know how to cut the grass.
I grew up using regular mowers and riding mowers, and then eventually turned into the zero turn. And my lawnmower knowledge apparently is pretty good at this point.
I mean, it's hard to believe all those girls that broke up with me because I said I'm just pretty much an adult child. I don't know how to do anything. I just know how to promote wrestling. That's it. So that's why I have to learn things through all these how-to videos.
You promoted this past weekend though that we hadn't done in a while. Speaking of lawnmowers, was your lawnmower 2.0 was on display on social media.
Hey man, I'm just I'm trying to get those sponsorship dollars somehow.
I think we're still eligible for it. If you guys buy a couple more things at manscaped.com, we might get some Manscaped dollars.
Promo code Absolute.
Yeah, did you see Parker Pierce is trying to compete with us?
Who knew Parker Pierce had a fucking podcast?
I had no idea.
I was like, what is going on? He was all manscaped out and all this gear. And I was like, how did this guy, who knew Parker Pierce had a podcast? B, who knew Parker Pierce had a podcast that was getting sponsorships? And C, who knew Parker Pierce was such a fan of 50 Cent? Because he had a big 50 Cent poster hanging on his wall.
Did
you notice that?
He seems more like an Eminem guy to me, I would have to guess. But
I was like, this guy still got posters hanging in his like he's living in the frat house still.
He's look, maybe Dan did not resonate very well with him. There's still a little bit of party Parker Pierce left over, I think. He's not all professional.
But he's got some podcast. I don't know. Who knows? Right. Everyone's got a podcast these days.
Well, what do you say we get into this week's episode? Like we said, folks, we're talking about Bad Boy for Life. This was recorded at an earlier time point, so just keep that in mind as you listen. But have fun, and we'll join that regular broadcast right now. On this week's episode, we are joined by the Bone Collector, the Italian-American Dragon, Dominic Garrini, AIW owner John Thorne, as always, and my name is Steve Guy, your moderator of sorts. Speaking of things that you can purchase from Smart Mark Video, on this episode, we go way back in time, about 6 months ago, to September, when we did Bad Boy for Life.
So it's more than. Is it only been 6 months?
6 months.
6 months, man.
Hey, I'm a
Time flies.
I'm a March birthday guy. I know September to March. I got that.
Time flies,
I got that
man.
locked.
I tell you.
Yeah. So
I got it easy. I'm the December birthday, so it's December and June. I'm just right in half there.
See, my birthday.
I'm Mark's birthday as well, so I got you, Steve.
Yeah, my birthday's March. My mom's birthday is September, so I know the easy 6-month deal there. That's how it's always locked in. But Joey Janela, this was technically our farewell to Joey Janela.
Technically, I mean, it's back in the game now, but
yeah, he did a little bit of everything.
So
did a little bit of everything this night. He did some wrestling. He did some commentary.
I commentated with him.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I know we kind of talked about it months and months ago, probably 6 months ago, but as this AEW thing evolves, at that time, nobody knew how it was going to kind of impact things. It was, right then and there, it was, well, they're all done on the indies. So, we threw a going away party, so to speak.
And we did this because Joey's last match was supposed to be at Absolution, and
Against Swoggle.
we had documented travel issues. We talked about it on the show, so he wasn't able to make it. And thanks to the people at AEW, he reached out to them and said, "Hey, I feel like I still owe it to these guys. This is not how I want to go out at AIW. I love being at AIW." So we were able to work this out, which is cool, at the Winchester back in September.
Oh, I will say, I guess, a little bit of news stemming from this event is the ring breaks, right? We've talked about the ring has broken. It's kind of prevented us from trying to throw those little side gig like shows because the main show ring is just, it stands too tall. Like, for people that are unaware that listen, in Montana we have 2 rings and one is much shorter to the ground, so it allows us to go into bars and things with lower ceilings, and we can do a show.
We got a big market out in Montana?
We might. I mean, hey, like I've been watching Beyond the Mat since it was on Netflix, and
okay.
Jake the Snake, he had a fucking hell of a house out in South Dakota there or whatever. But yeah, so a little update on that. The ring breaks something. Dom, can you elaborate on what is broken on the ring?
Essentially, the biggest thing that happened was when that ring was just only used for training sessions, and it kind of was more sedentary. It wasn't getting moved nearly as much. It wasn't as hard. Plus, we weren't taking the buckles off every day for everything and moving them. Essentially, what ended up happening was that ring has broken multiple times over the past 2 years. The frame of it has like, the welds have broken. So Dr. Dan has re-welded multiple times, and
a lot of it, I think, is because it's has been in these different, so to speak, climates.
Yes.
And there was a lot, like we've talked about it on the show a lot. The Twan training center that had holes in the roof, like it was. There was a lot of cold and hot, and the steel would
it gets warped. It gets warped over time,
and it bent over time with everything happening to it.
Yep.
And this show was the complete breaking point.
Yeah, it was the complete breaking point. Like, I think I had gotten there a little later from work, and Dan, was freaking out, and the biggest thing that had kind of happened was, like I said, a couple of times those sides had broken and we'd fixed them. Well, down the line, Dr. Dan and I started noticing that the ring posts themselves were starting to get kind of bowed in, and we really never had an explanation for how, why, or any reasoning behind this. Like you said, probably general use, general wear and tear. Sometimes these short boy rings are considered more backyard rings than anything, so they aren't necessarily made for the long haul. So that messes with the cables on the underneath section, which then messes with everything else. And it was just kind of like the perfect storm that night. And you get 2 big meaty boys in there like KTB and Zach Thomas, and
that was it.
Yeah, that was it. That was the breaking point for it.
It was done for, and we could not get it fixed based on how these posts have warped
themselves. Yeah,
like the whole thing was fucked up. So I will say this, a lot of, as I said, the reason for the Patreon was to save money and make purchases. And last week I bought 4 brand new posts for that ring. made, completely brand new, which was extremely expensive. Like, we could have probably just bought a whole new ring for maybe, a couple $1,000 more, but after it took months, like it took 6 months, we were going back and forth with the ring people, and they're not understanding what our problem is, and then Dr. Dan, maybe he was not. I don't think he was as on it as he told me that he was.
No comment.
But
Dave, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, Dave the Potato, he's just sitting out there. What do you think? You think Dr. Dan is on top of stuff, man?
Just like the sponsorship after parties in Akron, probably not.
Oh my goodness!
Got him.
Oh man, Dave the Potato coming for the jugular today. Dr. Dan not even here to defend himself.
Wow.
We are working on getting a Dave the Potato Dr. Dan debate.
Possible Patreon exclusive content
on Patreon, but yeah. So anyway, we have finally ordered 4 new posts, so you could possibly see more bar shows hitting the schedule in the summer-ish months. But yeah, it's taken 6 months to kind of get this thing together, so that's like. I guess a nice little update, and letting you guys know that who do subscribe to the Patreon, as well as getting watching the streams on IWTV, like that's all generating money for us to where we can finally afford to fix this stuff and get this equipment that we need, especially for the local fans who like those weeknight shows, the smaller type of intimate shows with. Like this one was, it featured a lot of different talent, a lot more localized talent, and I know that there's a market for that, and our fans like seeing especially the newer guys develop. So that was a long-winded explanation that the ring that broke on this night is getting fixed.
That was it. Oh God, I know.
That's it.
You're saying
it.
more. After
I mean,
the other
I got
thing-
this coffee. I got this coffee going, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna be talking a lot.
The other thing about this night, the fun side of it, is that going into the show, people knew one match.
Yeah.
Alex Shelley versus Joey Janela, and they knew nothing else about what they were about to see.
And that was that at first was not made, like that wasn't a conscious decision to be like, oh, let's do this mysterious show at first, because this thing was added kind of quickly.
Yeah, it was late in the game. Yeah,
late in the game. I believe Bobblehead Night was the week before, right?
it was
Yeah,
it was the week after.
or week after.
No, it was the
Right?
before because I had already wrestled Shelley at this point.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay. Yes.
and I was just like, man, like, what are we gonna do? You don't want to overload it at the Winchester because there's only so many tickets you could sell in there. Mm-hmm. That is a place that definitely has a cap on it. So, I was just like, who do Joey wanted Shelley, so I get Shelley, and it's just like, well, how much more money can we dish out versus how many tickets can we sell, because you also don't want to gouge people ticket price wise, you know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like a fine line. And then I started kind of working on a card, and I was like, it's a good show, but it's like, is it like, I don't know that the show that we produce gets the same reaction if it's announced, you know what I mean? Like in advance. But since there was this kind of aura of mystery, and we brought, it at least like one classic AIW match out, I think it just kind of it added to the vibe and the atmosphere of the night.
Yeah.
I remember, I kind of remember you and I had a discussion about it kind of before you made the decision. Fans have always kind of come up to me and you, and they've always asked us to do that Mystery Vortex idea. And Mystery Vortex, while it seems like such a great idea, in the forefront, without being able to advertise anybody, it's such a big risk for a promoter.
Right, because, I hate to tell you guys this, you fans out there listening, but you are a fickle bunch at times. Mm-hmm. So it is a big risk if I'm like, hey, this is a mystery show, and then I load it up with all this crazy talent, and you guys are just like, well, I didn't know who was going to be there, so
I didn't go, or I streamed it.
Right.
So I honestly, we had the Joey and Shelley match, which is a marquee match and one of the better matches you could probably put on the independent scene in 2019 at the time. So I remember messaging you and saying, if we're ever going to do Mystery Vortex, this might be the best time to do it.
And like when I started kind of, flushing the card out a little bit, I was just like, this is a good show. I know it's going to be a good show, but Shelley and Janela is going to sell all the tickets anyway. So
Yeah.
Let's just do it. And that's how it kind of all came together.
And we did stream on this night too. This was a Fight TV show.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that. Fuck.
Yeah, we did Fight TV. Robles and I think Ivan were there.
Yep, I remember talking to Robles at the end. I said, "How was the stream?" He goes, "One and done here, baby." He goes, "I don't know if I don't know if I could handle much more than that."
Well, that's because he elaborated on that. It's because he said when you do these bars, sometimes like the credit card machine will auto send everything.
Sends the whole batch of their
and it
sales.
goes it like sends the batch out to like
Wow,
the credit card,
that's-
and it like that could potentially just kill the stream.
Wow, that's inside information right
Yeah,
there.
that's
Yeah.
super. So he said that we would probably, if we went back there, we could probably do it again. But he said it's so like you're just on the bubble with like how the internet strength was there versus if that happened, it could kill.
Interesting.
They have some stuff like some precautionary things like a hotspot and stuff like that. But
Okay.
yeah, I guess, and I think actually, we're jumping all over the place. We haven't got to the show yet, but I believe that the shows in Akron are going to stream going forward now.
Yes, I can confirm that.
Wow.
I met with Robles at the Tadmore, and he was able to get into the office there and kind of get hooked into the internet to see what the strength was. And as long as he brings enough cord, he says we shouldn't have a problem. So, I don't know, we haven't announced the return date to Akron, but the next Akron show should be streaming.
Yeah, May 16th. We're going back to Akron.
Big news.
But yeah, hopefully we're gonna do more streams. Like we're trying to get as much stuff available, whether it's IWTV or Fight live. I think we have really excelled in the live pressure and environment. As much as we all freak out and want to kill each other on those show days, I do think that live pressure kind of adds to the the just work ethic of everybody.
Well, let's get into the show itself. And coincidentally, we lead off, as we talked about Alex Shelley, with two guys that after this show takes place, within the next 6 months, sit underneath the Alex Shelley learning tree. So much that he apparently has grown quite fond of them. But we see Trey Lamar and Lee Moriarty go one-on-one.
Yeah, this is just one of those let's put these two guys together matches. I think it's a good matchup, and that's what I like about the bar shows is you don't necessarily got to load it up with the and not saying that they're not elite talents, but you don't got to load it up with the fan favorite guys that everybody knows, like the Nick Gages and the Mance Warners and all those guys. You could put these two guys out there who are extremely talented and just let them go.
And I think it's funny now that we cover this, starting with those two, the growth that we've seen out of
in
them
6 months.
In 6 months.
Right. It's incredible. And I mean, that's really what the AIW system is trying to be. And it really is trying to be a system that is, developing guys. Like, I don't think that anybody is trying to develop guys more than we are on the independent level right now. And, this is a perfect example of how far these guys have come, in 6 months. Last year they were virtually nobody guys outside of the AIW bubble. Lee wasn't even in the AIW bubble.
Yeah.
And, now, they're guys that are all over WrestleMania weekend in Tampa, and, they're getting all kinds of bookings, and they're going all over the country now.
Is this I was trying to think if this was on YouTube. This is not on YouTube. I was going to tell people to go.
No, but I will say,
Go watch the stream.
I will say, yeah, you could watch it. You could watch it on Fight, or I will say, we did recently get a plaque from YouTube.
Yeah.
200,000 or 100,000 subscribers or whatever it is.
That's exciting.
Big plaque. But I am going to get kind of back into adding stuff and working on the YouTube again a lot, because I was putting a lot of effort into it for a long time to get that growth. And then when all the money things happened and all the everything else where they were
the monetization dropped on there.
Yeah, shout out to Bix again for making that happen. Getting our monetization back, but I'm gonna get back into doing stuff. I'm slowly getting back in the now that the weather's breaking and everything, that seasonal depression is going away. I'm getting a lot more motivated to do stuff.
So glad to hear that. I should note, old Mr. Wasabi Jones.
Jones in the building.
Maserati West Barkley has
Yes,
dropped
sir.
in, folks.
Are you back from the desert from your adventure with Mr. Brickster?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we heard
Oh,
about
yeah.
this hole digging.
Oh yeah, we were doing
Let's talk
some
about
things. This time change has kind of thrown us back a little bit, but we're back on schedule. So
My goodness. The next match we go into, we've already talked about as the one that essentially breaks the ring on this night. KTB and Zach Thomas, a couple beefy dudes.
Just some big boys, and this is it for the ring for the day. And it couldn't have happened at a worse time, because Janela and Shelley is next.
Well, one more between them.
Oh, okay,
But I don't think the ring mattered for the one between them. But I'm trying to remember the exact moment. I remember hearing a big
there's just
pop
like a cling.
Yeah. And you're like,
And that's it. That's
I don't remember it was a superplex or what. But then we go into Dr. Dan.
still hit the lion salt though, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
Still
he does.
Still
That
hit
could have
lion
been
salt.
what did it. Honestly,
That could be. Yeah, because if those posts were already bowed. Yeah. And he just goes right in between them. But then we go Dr. Dan, Parker Pierce, and the Weird World.
this is
Against
a
the
good
Weird
one.
World.
Yeah.
Dr. Dan, Parker Pierce.
Talk about a lot of things that happened in 6 months. Dr. Dan retired Weird Body.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Dr. Dan was in
R.I.P. Weird Body.
They had matching gear, I think, at this show. Dr. Dan and Parker
This would have
Pierce.
been. I think this was the debut of the Sparkles.
Yeah,
Those sparkle pants are. I mean, Parker Pierce looks like a fucking $1 million.
There it
he
is.
does.
We got to send that guy down to Puerto Rico or something and get some polishing. But I can see him
Yeah,
working
show up first.
Yeah,
New coat of paint. First, brother.
Put a new coat of paint on him. I can see him working WWC down there or whatever.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Carlos.
I'll put a word in the Savio for him.
Yeah, we'll send him down to Carlos. Get him polished up. I'm telling you, Parker Pierce in Puerto Rico. That is the goal for 2020.
All
Parker
right.
Pierce, Puerto Rico. Triple P.
Yeah,
There
triple
you
P.
go.
Pickle.
Pickle. Quadruple.
I'm telling you, he'll excel down there. Just
Those
have
sparkles.
bloodbaths down there with Bushwhacker Luke or something.
I'm sold.
Ooh, brother.
I'm sold.
But then we do go to Alex Shelley, Joey Janela.
Can we not talk about Dr. Dan taking that code red onto the floor?
Sheesh.
You remember that?
No, I don't
I
remember
don't.
that.
Elaborate.
Weird Body
yeah.
gave him this crazy code red onto the floor.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He just made a thud. I remember you being in the back and like, what the fuck was that? I was like, oh, Dr. Dan took a code red to the floor from Weird Body. You're like, what?
That's the other goal, is to
Remember
get weird body out of retirement. That's the other goal.
Okay.
Opposite
Yeah.
side of where hard cam is set up.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Why?
Over there, yes. Oh man, I
No
forgot
camera
about
shot
that.
for that.
Good
Okay.
call. Good call
Okay.
back, Dr. Dan.
Love you, Dan.
Yeah, but so then we go Alex Shelley, Joey Janela, which we did tell. I did tell them. I went back there. It's guys. The ropes are pretty much non-existent. And
Which I was having a full-on panic attack at this point.
You were. I remember that.
I was like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, they said, "Oh shit, okay," but
Alex Shelley and Joey Janela, though, were kind of like, oh, that's fine. Like,
exactly.
They did not give one fuck about the
Yeah.
ropes.
It was a very
And, like,
brief. Oh shit, and then they're like, "Yeah, that's fine."
and that goes to show you, like, just the level of pros that those guys are. And, like, this is why, at times, like, we haven't done it in a while, but at the school, we used to do this thing where people would just be doing matches, and then like me or Dom or somebody would announce, second rope just broke. You can't hit the ropes anymore. And like they have to continue to do their match with no ropes, because guys like Alex Shelley and Joey Janela probably been on plenty of shows with no fucking ropes, and like they really did not give one fuck about it, and they still had an amazing match.
Yeah, that match was sweet.
And think back to the year of J-Lit, right, where the bottom rope breaks.
Oh, right.
With Super Crazy.
Oh yeah.
And
More like super lazy.
You want to tell that story real quick?
Yeah, sure. I was in Spokane, Washington for a booking this past week, and Super Crazy was on the show, and a fan goes up to Super Crazy at the gimmick table and goes, "Oh, Super Crazy, I'm so excited you're here." He goes, "Oh, tonight, more like super lazy."
Dom told me that story, and I said, well, Super Crazy won't be coming back for the J-Lit this year, I guess.
I would not bring him back for the jailer right now. Very nice gentleman, but looking on like he's on that Dr. Dan diet.
oh, Dr. Dan getting torn apart. Not here to defend
Love you,
himself.
Dr. Dan. Love you, good doctor.
But that was so in J-Lit when that broke, that was
right before the kids
right
debuted.
before the
Yeah,
kids debuted.
that was crazy.
I remember going to the back and telling them, "Hey guys, you got no bottom rope. I don't think you're doing anything with it, so you guys should be good. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye."
Yeah.
Sheesh.
That was wild. But Alex Shelley, Joey Janela, unbelievable professionals, and just it speaks to how good they are.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And this was Joey's at the time his last AIW match for the for the long foreseeable future. We could have never guessed it would only be 6 months, but it happens. But no, it was the way that Joey wanted to go out. I know he had talked to Twan, and when Shelley made his indie return, it was a big thing that Joey wanted to wrestle him. So it was good for John to be able to set that up for him.
This match was a good reminder of how you can have a great wrestling match. When people debate about, you got to have the high flying stuff and you got to do this and that. When you go way, way back, the ropes were kind of intended for a ring just
For choking people out.
for confines. Yeah, very rarely used.
That's high.
And they're
That's
just
what I
there
thought.
like, all right, it takes place within this square.
Hot
They're
shot.
not supposed to, not necessarily getting
Stun gun?
used like they are right now
Right.
for choking people out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Been doing it wrong, I
They
guess.
had a
Guillotine?
great technical wrestling match. Told a really good story, and Alex Shelley cuts an amazing promo, and praises Joey, and Joey, does his farewell speech, and I thought it was a pretty good moment,
Yeah.
for him to be able to do that, I don't know if I had just signed this big contract, if I would care to have come and wrestled in Cleveland on a Thursday night,
Yeah.
But he did, so that's props to him for doing that and giving back to the local scene, and now he's gonna come back again, I guess, every so often. Who knows? That's ever developing. But like I said, 6 months ago, there was going to be no AEW people on the indies. Now they realize, well, we've signed all these people, and they can't wrestle every week.
Yeah.
Like they need to stay fresh.
This was also the night that we finally, after this show, had to tell people about the deal with Alex Shelley, because there were people, because we live streamed it, people were like, why is this match not the main event? This should be the main event of the whole show.
Alex Shelley, as the stuff.
He's got that bedtime.
Well, yeah,
No,
because
it's not even that.
But it
It's
was
more
a-
of his day job.
this
It's
was
more
a
of his day
Thursday.
job.
well, like
Yeah.
the stuff with the coronavirus and him pulling out of 16 karat. Now it's kind of more out there. He has a day job, and like,
Yeah.
he's got to get back so he can wake up go to work at 6 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning.
and from my conversations with Alex after I wrestled him, Alex is very committed to this job. It's
Yeah.
really giving him
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like a second view on life, and he loves this position. And like as much as he loves wrestling, he's not willing to risk that great day job on top of wrestling.
And that was kind of like the only way to make it happen, because he had to work all day Thursday. Then he has to drive to Cleveland, and then he had to drive back home so he can go to work at 6
Yeah, he had
o'clock
to
in the morning.
work
So
on
that was
Friday.
like the compromise. Like he was like, I don't think I could do it a Thursday night, and that was kind of the compromise we came up with. And the mystery aspect then really made sense, because there was still going to be a level of excitement after that match happened.
Yes. Yeah, you still had no idea who was yet to come. And then we did see Pretty Boy Smooth and Danhausen after that.
I think this is like the first
Yeah, it's like the week after the tequila deal started with him.
the first tequila thing.
Yes. The tequila dancing thing. Yes.
I think that's the first.
I was
the
at first I'm
one.
like, who's doing shots of tequila during this match? And then now I realize what you're saying. Yes. This is after the whole tequila dance stuff
You got
went
a chicken
down.
wing?
Ghost pepper smoke, if anybody wants it. Also.
potato, bro.
Potato.
House, dude?
JB in the building. JB in the building.
Josh Bishop has entered the podcasting studios.
Fuckers, guess who's back on the pod? The Rip City Shooters are back.
Easy there.
You got all the energy today. I'm a little lower.
I don't
I'm a
know
little
how you
lower.
have so
You got-
much.
Yeah, that's
Take a
time
seat.
change.
Take a seat and just observe for
Yeah.
a while.
What are we talking about?
This
Take a
time
seat and
change.
observe
This
for a
time
while.
change has been throwing us up.
Walking in here with all this dirt all
They're
over your
gonna-
pants from digging holes with Mr. Brickster.
Yeah, well, I told him we had that big time change yesterday. It threw us off. We were supposed to meet someone at 2 a.m. Shit, that wasn't happening.
Then we roll into Duke and the Bitcoin Boys. Duke gets on the card, gets involved, gets in the gear,
Duke money.
and takes on PME and Alley Cat.
Yeah, this is just some good old fashioned fun.
Yeah,
Little fashioned family fun, huh?
little inner.
Duke is the low key king of the Winchester.
Is he?
Yeah,
Oh, wait a minute.
the Duke excels in
Are
the
you
Winchester.
kidding me?
Wait a minute. Did I not beat the Duke at the Winchester? Come on now.
Haas champion?
Come on. I'm the Haas
He
champion.
didn't say that the Duke was undefeated at the Winchester.
I said he's the king. I said
All right.
he excels.
We'll give it to him.
He excels in the Winchester environment.
JB. All right, he does excel. He does. I'll give it
That's
to him.
all.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Duke money. We're cool.
Yeah.
We're cool.
All right. All
I
right.
just got to state facts. We're talking Winchester records. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think this was a good match though. Fun.
This was fun. This is what it was supposed to be.
PME's doing really good in the impromptu 6-man tags too. They've been doing a lot of those.
Yeah. I love it. Those guys, they excel everywhere. That's why they're tag champs. Not like the shooters.
Whoa!
Wait, what was that? What do you mean? Have you even had a tag team shot?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, if you're office, you can get a shot for us. and
Exactly, Steve.
We'll
how about
happily
that
take
group
those
chat the
belts.
next show? You say, hey, how about we give Rip City Shooters a
Yeah,
shot?
I'll happily add some
no,
gold
sorry,
to my
because then
waist.
JB's gonna have all the gold.
Yeah, come on now.
I mean,
You opened yourself up to that one, Steve.
You can't fucking poke these guys.
I
Yeah.
apologize.
You got to keep them.
How are we gonna stop? I'm not helping him.
Yeah, I don't think I've even lost a match. Now we're talking
Did you
about
guys
it.
lose to Joyville?
No, I've never lost a match in my life. We're undefeated.
Yeah, what about
Straight up.
those fuck it rules?
Exactly. What about those fucking rules? What about the fucking rules? Who got the first fall? Yeah, me.
Okay.
One out of
Steve, I
three.
don't know how to
Yeah,
read.
let's get.
They took advantage because I don't know how to read.
Yeah,
You are
we
sick,
signed
bro.
contracts, man.
Canton, Steve. They took advantage.
We saw money. We signed it. We saw money. We signed that contract.
JB.
You are
Quadruple
you
booked
are
weekend.
sick, bro.
Dollar signs equal.
We had the quadruple shot weekend.
Biggest shoot statement ever uttered on this show, right there. So then we roll into a classic rematch of Manders and Big Twan.
Ooh,
This is a good one. This is number 2, right?
Yeah,
Prospect, man.
and it
the prospect. It's got that prospect patch on.
What is
staying that way, pal.
Sons of Anarchy, dude.
Yeah, he's prospect status, man. When the shooters ran his ass over. Hey, bud, when you're in the hospital bed and you're wondering what happened, you probably got ran over by the Rip City Shooters, Jack.
You probably heard the dogs barking and Jane's addiction hit.
Yes, sir.
And you saw them bleaching the band-aids.
Told them we were
Yeah.
where we were at today.
Package deal, brother.
Told them where we were
We
at.
got the location.
Yeah, we got it on your phone.
You guys
Our
hacking
satellite in the sky,
Sky
baby.
scanner.
Did the Brickster hack our phones?
Brickster's on his way.
You hacking on my ring?
Sky scanner. Sky scanner.
Man!
You hacking on my ring camera, dude? Out there, my ring doorbell out there.
Jesus. Look, if KTB and Zach Thomas didn't break the ring,
Now these are two guys that I was very worried about the ropes being broken and not knowing how to work around it. I was really worried at this point. But
were you worried that one of them was going to try to go off the ropes and just go right through them instead?
Yep.
I'd be more worried about Twan never showing up to practice and having terrible cardio and not being able to, survive.
That too.
I was worried that if one of the posts was actually broken, that if Twan was going to splash Manders in a corner or vice versa, that they were just going to go right through that post.
Yeah, I thought the whole ring was going down in this one.
You thought this was going to be the old Brock Lesnar superplex Big Show
Yeah, except
action.
for it wasn't going to be set up. It was just really
Yeah,
going
and
to break.
I was hoping
this
for that.
ring's
That would've
also
been
about
sweet.
a foot off the ground.
That would
So
have been sick. So this is match 2. First one was in Akron? Was first one Akron?
first one was
first one was
Higgins
Cup.
Cup.
J-Lo
Right.
weekend.
Yeah, the biggest
What a
tournament.
classic. Third was in Akron.
Third was in Akron.
Check it out. IWTV, check it out. Classic matches right here. Got to give it to him.
Yeah, and then from there, we get the intense icon
Uh-oh.
Joshua Bishop
What happened that night?
taking on the Bone Collector.
I'll fucking kill you right now.
Good night, dude. Keep talking like that. I'm gonna fucking set your ass on fire this time for real.
Josh Bishop
Good.
referencing in the
Please do
background
it.
his choke slam to Dom Garrini over a couple of chairs.
I wasn't cleared, too. Let's just get that statement out of the way. I had the neck
Well,
brace. I had a
that's
couple
because JB smoked you. He did. You tried to smoke me, I ducked, and you smoked
Oh,
what?
well, I already had the brace on.
Yeah, you
That,
had
we're
the
cool. We're
brace
over
on.
that. That's a bridge we already crossed. But to even be in the building, I had to do an appearance. I did a little commentary. But, I had a neck brace on from Nick Gage, give me a pile driver the week before. And, there's some vertebrae or something. I wasn't medically cleared, so.
Re-aggravating that Alex Daniels injury.
Exactly.
At some point during one of these matches, Joey Janela is on commentary, and it does make mention of extracurricular activities of AJ Gray in a snowstorm,
Oh, boy.
and that's a good time, allegedly.
Well,
I guess.
for the finish of this match is legendary. It definitely is. The old Necro Butcher used to do a spot where he'd set 2 chairs up and somebody went back suplex. Josh, I decided, I was like, hey, just give me a choke slam out of those. For some reason, usually whenever Necro did said spot, those chairs parted like the sea. This night they did not, and it looked particularly gnarly.
Yep.
And I remember posting the GIF to my Twitter, and like Twitter going insane, likes, retweets. But then there was a lot of comments where it was like, wow, why are you doing this, this, and that? And the problem is, because it had 400 likes and 200 retweets, like, that's why. Like, if you don't want guys like JB and myself to do silly shit, then don't like it. Don't retweet it.
I thought your vertebrae was going to part like the seas.
I think everybody did, but it did not.
Yeah, I mean,
Still
that's like a weird thing, because like everyone's like, oh, why are you doing that? Like, save it to when you're making some money, but it's like, you ain't gonna make the money if
Exactly.
you don't fucking build a name for yourself. So it's like a double-edged sword. You gotta do something to. How many bookings did Josh Bishop get after he fucking won off the Odeon balcony? He's fucking running hot at Mid Ohio now.
Woohoo, baby! King of the Indies, Joshua
There
Bishop.
it is. Get the pants. Get the custom Smart
I'm
Mark
still gonna do
video.
whatever the fuck I want, whether you like it or not on Twitter. I could really give 2 fucks what you guys have to say.
You can't even read, so it doesn't matter.
Same.
yeah.
So shit.
have Wes transcribe it to me.
Yeah. Twisting the facts. Twisting the
read,
facts.
Yeah, he doesn't read you the bad things.
My phone's actually Braille, so I gotta just fucking skim it over the fucking
It's the
screen.
new iPhone 12, bro.
What do you? Braille isn't for people who can't read. It's just for people who are blind.
Well, that's how I read. I only read through the touch.
You'd
I'm like
still,
Daredevil.
You'd still be able to.
I'm like Daredevil.
He's
still be able to understand.
Because he's blind.
Some of that barbed wire fucking
Blind people understand
Shagoosh.
words.
sonar was going off.
Yeah. I didn't have that shit on. Shit.
Wow.
Fucking sliced me up, dude. That barbed wire headhunter's chair.
And speaking of barbed wire, Matt Justice, I got something for you. And
Yeah?
it's going to be Cohen in Tampa. Is this coming out before or after Tampa?
I don't know. It's something.
Yeah.
Well,
Either way.
Yeah, either way, you know what happened.
Yep.
But you got in the shooter's way once again. And Fonzie! Oh, I got no problem. Open your old ass up
Oh, yeah.
again. Justice! Justice!
Where's my big brother?
Oh my God.
Where's my brother, Justice?
Go in the other room.
You know where my brother is? Right over there, Wes Barkley, baby.
Yes, sir.
Laying the smackdown on Justice's candy ass, laying the smackdown on the Prospect Manners, and laying the
Easily.
smackdown on Fonzie.
Easily. Fonzie, you're marked man.
What about
Just know
Manser?
The
Manser?
prospect.
Manser,
Oh,
hey,
we'll see you in Columbus,
yeah,
buddy.
yeah, wrong place, wrong time, Manser.
Well,
you're
you're
repping the
wrong
second
side,
gear
bud.
crew. You're marked, and guess what? The Rip City
Josh, we
shooters
got-
don't bust back.
Hey,
we shoot
hey, Rip
first.
City, let's go outside and get some air, boys. Go outside and get some air. You guys,
We're getting ratings right now, Jack. Come on.
my God.
What's the next match?
Yeah.
Main
The
event.
next match is thankfully the main event, the final match.
Josh Bishop and Wes Barkley were
Well, sadly, at this time, you were not a champion, Josh, and Matthew Justice was, so he was the main event.
Yes.
Oh,
Matthew
this is this
Justice
match.
and Eric Ryan. Yeah. Who makes those? The
Michael Porter, right?
Yeah,
Michael
yeah,
Porter.
yeah.
How-
Michael
how
Porter
are- I don't-
at Michael Porter 98.
Nuggets?
Oh,
what do you
Lithographs or something, right?
Yeah. What are they called?
MPJ, baby.
I don't know.
Lithograph or something?
Lithograph.
They're sweet. They're sweet.
It's cool. It's just like a little.
They just look like holograms
Yeah.
to me.
And
Like
you-
a little picture. There's one of
You used to get those in like a Topps
baseball
baseball
card
card,
stuff.
you know,
Yeah.
holograms.
yeah.
You
So
move
there's
the
one
card-
of Big Twan and Faye Jackson.
You move
There's
the card
one of
back and forth, and it shows you a little
Justice
thing.
and Eric Ryan from the said show.
Yeah, Eric
Eric Ryan
Ryan
hitting him with the door.
Doman,
And then there's one of Matt Justice dropping an elbow drop on me.
Yeah. And I think he's
Who did
making
you-
more.
who did you think that
and
was?
now he's
Well, I'm just remembering that I beat him right after.
Oh yeah,
now he's developing photos he already took onto Polaroid film.
Saw
That's
that,
real
yeah.
cool.
it's
Yeah, that's
cool.
cool. He takes
Very
really
cool.
good pictures.
Yeah, Michael Porter doing good work.
but yeah, we get classic intense match. Eric Ryan, Matthew Justice, blood everywhere.
Light
Just
tubes.
light tubes.
Light tubes.
DJV.
DJ EV.
DJ
that
EV was
night.
there. Yeah, shout out DJ EV.
He was very pumped to see that. He said, "Is it like this all the time?"
Yeah.
And I said, "It is not like this all the time, but you're welcome back."
Tell him to come back. Yeah.
Big shot DJs in the house.
Let's hit him up right now. Let's hit him right now.
It's all about his schedule. You know, he's not always in Cleveland.
Come to Tampa, baby.
Jack Thriller.
He doesn't live in Cleveland.
I'ma hit him up
full-time
right now.
anymore. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, so Eric Ryan, Matt Justice, just a good old fashioned death match main event
And this was the
for all the
opportunity.
ghouls.
The
Yeah,
intense
light
title
tubes.
is the one thing that eludes Eric Ryan.
Yep.
He was going for it on this night.
And it
Didn't come away with
eluded him once again.
It did. It did. All in all, though, what a show. That wrapped up the mystery for you, which was another thing. You know, people, Matt Justice potentially is there. You don't know it's going to be Eric Ryan, all that great stuff. That was a whole fun thing. And the whole show, top to bottom.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good show. It really, with it being on Fight and the whole card mystery, people were really interactive, on social media during it. So I thought it was a successful Thursday at the Winchester.
But there's one match that the people wanted, and I think we're going to have to give it to them at the next mystery.
What's that?
And John Thorne, it's you and it's me. And it's us locked together by a dog collar in that 18 by 18 squared circle.
16 by 16.
Hype it up a little bit.
What if this
Matt, he
match were to
couldn't-
occur on a barge, Joshua?
I don't like that idea. No.
That's the only way it's happening.
Wrestle Rager 5, Swim to Survive.
We'll do it on the lake.
I got a meeting next week, bro.
No way.
Yeah, next Saturday.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's going to be on a lake.
So let's wrap it up. Take us home, Steve.
Take us home, Steve.
Well, that was Bad Boy for Life. Check it out on DVD. Download the MP4 at smartmarkvideo.com. For everybody involved in this episode, Dave the Potato chimed in at one point just to make fun of Dr. Dan.
There he is.
Dom Garrini is here. The Rip City Shooters.
Yes, sir.
Wes Barkley, Josh Bishop.
Yes,
plus
sir.
John Thorne. My name's Steve Guy. We'll talk to you next week right here on The Card is Going to Change. All right, so that was our episode covering Bad Boy for Life, which happened back in September, and some of you just watched on IWTV last Wednesday at 10. It is now available on video on demand via IWTV, so if you have the subscription, check that out. If you don't have the subscription, again, use the code ABSOLUTE and sign up for a 5-day free trial.
Those promo codes help us out quite a bit too. And if you want the physical copy, you can order it from Smart Mark Video right now. They know how to ship things. So
Yeah, they're experts at that at this point.
experts.
As you know, as we end this year today, John, one of the things we didn't cover at the beginning, but let's just give people an update on our shows at this point.
Well, obviously Tampa did not happen, as
Right.
Josh Bishop was yelling about. Fonzie's still alive.
Well, look, Fonzie's big scare right now is alligators.
Yeah, Fonzie has been texting me these videos of him having these kind of showdowns with alligators in Florida, and I was like, Fonzie, get in the house, man. Like, he's taking videos and just sending me these videos of him fishing and alligators popping out of the water at him, trying to eat his bass that he's fishing. And I was just like, Fonzie, like, get in the house, dude. Like, what are you doing? He has sent me a saga of him versus alligator videos in the last week. And I don't know why it's so funny, because he commentates.
He does.
And it's just so stupid, but it's so funny.
He's extreme, daddy.
Yeah. But yeah, Fonzie versus the alligator. Hit him up. Ask to see those videos on social media. But yeah, Tampa did not happen. Columbus obviously did not happen. And, our April event with Psycho Clown has officially been postponed and will not happen at this time, at least, which Psycho Clown probably couldn't even have came anyway, even if we were allowed to have it, based on everything going on with the borders and everything else. May 16th in Akron is probably, I would say, probably not going to happen at this point. I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate. I mean, in Ohio, as of right now, the way it stands, they have extended the stay-at-home order until May 1st. I think across the U.S., the president said, nothing more than 10 people until April 30th. But, we are in Ohio, so that May 1st date, it kind of goes beyond that. And then who knows? We'll have to see if that gets extended or not. And
I mean, it's just, like, I've just kind of accepted that this is going to be the way of life going for a while. And, even when things are allowed, who knows how many people are going to be pumped to go to a place with a lot of people anyway, So this is going to be kind of a long, drawn-out process, far beyond when the restrictions even are kind of eased up.
Yeah. So that's your update there, you guys. Hopefully you did enjoy the episode in general, though, with the whole cast of characters. You got to hear some of those voices again, as opposed to just John and I mostly for the last couple of weeks, although we had Magnum last week and President Matt Wadsworth at one point.
I believe his documentary is going to stream live on IWTV this week as well.
Oh, very cool.
I believe it is going to be this Saturday. Let me just check real quick on that, but
okay.
Yeah, I believe they they worked out a deal for Magnum's documentary to air live on IWTV at 8 p.m. on Saturday.
There you go. There you have it.
So if you haven't checked it out on Amazon or YouTube yet, you just haven't had time for it, check it out on IWTV on this upcoming Saturday at 8 p.m.
Saturday, April the 18th, Magnum's Opus on IWTV. And again, hit us up with your top 5 topics. It's your topic, whatever topic you want. You can make up something as long as it's relevant and related to AIW, and then you have to give us your top 5 of it. And then
it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be gauntlet surprises. It can be whatever topic you want it to be.
Yeah, I started with Gauntlet Surprises because we missed that show, unfortunately, and it was relevant, but it's whatever you want. And look, if we get some repeats, I'll go with the first one first, and then maybe we'll do it again down the line. So just be patient, and basically, I go look up the footage for what you have, and we give everybody your top 10. It's a fun little thing.
Yeah, and
top 5, I should say.
One thing that we forgot, because I did watch the live stream of it on Wednesday night. We forgot to mention when we recorded this episode, because we probably all forgot, how drunk Dr. Dan tried to change the canvas after the main event match had already started. Like, it was a brand new canvas.
Yes.
And, I don't know if he told somebody else to change it or what.
So here's what happened. That canvas that we used wasn't a brand new one,
but it was new. It was the newer one.
It was the one that it was the first blue one that we got. So it was the one that we painted for Slumber Party Massacre in Jersey. So
we didn't want it to be all bloody.
The problem was it was already pretty bloody, and it was torn a couple times. And so oddly enough, I'm talking things over, and we know we have a certain amount of time, and I go back to check with Justice and Eric Ryan and say, guys, it's going to be X amount of time because they're going to switch over their canvas. And they said, no, we don't need it. We're not gonna be that bad. It's not gonna be that terrible, and we want to go. This crowd is hot. It's already been a kind of longer show. We don't want to lose the crowd, so we want to just go. Don't do it. And they told the students that. I also checked the students. It's like, yeah, they didn't want to change it. I go, all right, then I guess that's how we're gonna go. And then none of us told Dr. Dan that. So
it's so awkward. It's so awkward on the video. It's so awkward. Like nobody knows, and nobody knows it's a canvas. Nobody knows what's being thrown into the ring.
They just think it's a body bag.
Yeah, that's what Joey Janela and I were commentating, and he's like, "Is that a body bag?" And like Dr. Dan is trying to hide his identity and keep kayfabe. He's got a hood over his face. He's like dressed like an Undertaker druid, and he throws a body bag into the ring, and everyone's like, and the match is like already started, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And, you know, he's definitely drunk and mad, and I probably yelled at him at the end of the night. I don't remember. I don't know if that's the show. I know Dr. Dan got yelled at me pretty bad at the Winchester ones. I don't know if it was that show or if it was the Wrestle Rave show, but
I think it was Wrestle Rave.
This time off is probably being pretty good on Dr. Dan's mental health too. I just might add, because he's not getting yelled at really at all.
Yeah, I remember then having to grab it. He's like, "Oh, they don't want it. They're not going to eat it." I'm like, "No, they're not using it. They're just going to go." He's like, "Oh, okay then," and then he put it down.
Yeah, it was so awkward. But yeah, I mean, we're just out here podcasting and doing various different things.
Yeah, to keep all of you happy and try to keep some form of sanity ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. But like I said, I feel pretty good actually about it, just based on, getting things done, and my cat's walking all over the computer now.
Whiskers is always making an appearance there.
But I'm feeling pretty good, honestly. Things could be a lot worse, I suppose. Thinking about it, 2 Aprils ago is when I was in the hospital with pneumonia. So, I'm in no hurry. I'm in no hurry to go out and catch COVID-19 and wind up with pneumonia again.
Yeah, we're happy you're here now. I think that puts you in the at-risk world too. By the way, with the history of pneumonia, they say
it kind of does. I think it kind of does because I got that's what was implied to me by my doctor, that when I called about that cough when this whole thing first started, they told me to just isolate myself.
Well, there you have it. And the isolating you've been doing.
I mean, I was an only child for 10 years. I could do this staying at home alone thing for, no problem. This is nothing to me.
Well, good.
I could entertain myself, and I'm fine with not being around people. I don't really like people that much anyway. So
yeah,
I mean, I do, but I like people, but I could do without them for a while too sometimes.
You like them on your terms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this staying at home stuff is like no problem. My work is rotating me to work 1 week, and then I'm off for 2 weeks. So these 2 weeks, it's a breeze.
And you're getting paid during those 2 weeks.
For now, there's a lot of media rumors going around in the city of Cleveland. So we'll see. So far, so good though.
Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, and look, there's more to look forward to, and the card is going to change, and AIW in general, even if we can't run shows, we're still gonna bring as much content to you as we possibly can.
I've been putting a lot of old Cleveland wrestling footage up on the Patreon, a lot of old like Cleveland All Pro stuff, and just weird stuff that I've found over the years. So, the Patreon isn't just exclusive to AIW stuff. We're trying to just keep things interesting over there as well. So support the Patreon if you can. $5 gets you quite a bit of stuff. Some of the upper tiers are kind of even hard for us to produce at this point. So I would recommend, the $5 one to get you started, and then we'll see. As time goes on, we're going to figure out how to do some of those extra perks that are promised in the higher tiers. We're still doing the mail order stuff, obviously. The the surprise packages in the mail. But the alternate commentaries are a little tough in this kind of way of the world right now.
Yep. So we'll try to bring as much as we can to you guys. Hopefully you're all staying safe out there. And for John Thorne and the cast of characters you already heard, my name's Steve Guy. We'll talk to you next week right here on The Card is Going to Change.